So here we go, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Boot Room, the show where we look ahead to Town's next game. And the Blues are back in action as they make an away trip to Derby County at Pride Park in League One. I'm joined by Andy Warren. And wow, Andy, it's been a wild week in League One. Town hasn't even kicked the ball. I'm sure you're looking forward to this running.
Yeah, sometimes you can move forwards just by standing still, and that's kind of how it feels for Town over the last few days. Barnsley lost to Exeter. Forest Green remarkably beat Sheffield Wednesday and shocked all of us, and then Wednesday could only get a draw at Cheltenham, and all of that has kind of opened the door for Ipswich. Really, Plymouth haven't been playing either. They're not playing this weekend, so things are going to go on kind of around Plymouth. But Town are in a great position to do something here, and they're in a great position because they've won 6 in a row. They don't concede goals ever, seemingly, and they're in a great position. They're a really good side. They've got themselves into a good place. They've got a tough game this weekend, but this feels like a kind of a four-way shootout for 2 places again, which it wasn't just a week or so ago. It really didn't feel like that. So lots of twists and turns to come. We have to be prepared for Town to have their setbacks along the way as well. It's that I can feel sure they're not going to sit here and win all 9 of their remaining games. It'd be great if they did. There's going to be setbacks, there's going to be twists and turns, but the great news is Town are a really good team and they're in a really good position. So really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited too. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions, I'm sure, for the final 9 games. Of course, first up, Andy, Derby County, a team who we beat earlier in the season, back in October, live on Sky on a Friday night. A great night, and it sort of kicked on Town's season. They also kicked on Derby's season. They went, of course, 15 games unbeaten after that defeat. But then in recent months, have had a not great run, a few defeats. Your thoughts on Derby as a whole, 6th in League One, fighting for that maybe final playoff spot?
Yeah, that's their fight now. But there was a time where we wondered whether they would be fighting even higher. They were moving like a train at times. I think each team really has had their spell. It feels like Derby have kind of had to slip back to maybe try and move forward again. They will finish in a playoff place at best now, and they're in a fight with Bolton, Wickham, and Peterborough for those positions. But Paul Warne knows how to do things. It's always felt to me like Paul Warne has come in and made some changes, but hasn't quite got the personnel that Paul Warne would want to do what he does in League One. I would back Derby to very much be involved in a serious promotion campaign next season, even if they don't make it this year. But they still might, and they're doing it with David McGoldrick up top. Remarkably 35 years old, 16 goals for him. Doesn't feel like a Paul Warne kind of striker to me at all, but they're working with it and it's working for them. So a lot of eyes will be on him in this one. Some good players in there, some young players, some good experienced players, but all about Ipswich this. Can Ipswich go there and do what they did at Bolton and maybe just profit on a little slide, a little loss of spark, and come away with the victory. That's the challenge for Town here.
Yeah, it is indeed. And let's talk then about Town. Derby out of the way. It's all about Ipswich Town, as you said. And we've got 2 players on a high after international duty. Nathan Broadhead winning 2 caps, scoring on his debut. Wes Burns also adding to a cap. How big is that, Andy, for 2 players coming back from international duty on a high?
That's massive, isn't it? Like Nathan Broadhead, in not even just because of what happened with Wales, like how he's been doing with Ipswich, will feel like he can't really do an awful lot wrong. He's kind of, particularly at Portman Road, has become a goal machine. He's added something big to this team since he joined in January. Just the ability to attack the penalty area, cutting in off that left side, and they found a role for him there that really works. And Wes Burns as well. Yes, the international caps will be a big boost to him, but he's coming back into form just at the right time. He's kind of been a man for the big occasions over his time with Ipswich. Obviously, in that Derby game you mentioned earlier, it was his goal that won it. He seems to be a man for the big occasions, and he's got that little bit of an edge about him again that was missing for a significant spell of the season. But having those 2 sort of coming back, the group will have enjoyed having them back, and I'm sure they'll come back straight into the starting lineup and try and influence the game from there.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Andy, let's talk then about the first 11. Some question marks. Of course, up front is always the big talking point for anybody. But any other positions around the team you want to look into first before we go and talk about the front man?
Not really. I think the logic suggests that it could well be an unchanged team to the one that beat Shrewsbury last time out. You could talk about a couple of positions like we've seen in that Derby game you mentioned earlier. Caden Jackson was used wide to try and push Derby back a little bit. You might wonder whether did Broadhead extend it used too much emotional energy, physical energy during his time on international duty. I would say probably not. I think you play him. The other one, McKenna has used Janoy Danasian, has come in at right back on some couple of the tougher assignments. But again, Harry Clark, I wouldn't be rushing to do that either. I think Harry Clark offers things that Janoy doesn't, and it's all about Ipswich. I wouldn't be bending to teams at this point. If I was Kieran McKenna, I'd be backing my players, and I think probably an unchanged team is the order of the day. But you're right, the talking point is probably around the striker.
Yeah, George Hurst, of course, scored a very good goal last time out, and he's played the last two games. He's actually scored in the last two games. Of course, scored also against Bolton. Where are you going then, Andy? You bringing Ladapo back in, or is Hurst? You said it likely could be an unchanged side, but any debate there?
No, not for me. Look, there's been long spells of this season where I would have had Freddie Ladapo starting games when he wasn't starting games. I think with George Hurst having scored those two really good goals as well in the last two games, I think you carry on. If I'm completely honest, I would be surprised if it's anything other than an unchanged team when the team comes out at 2:00 at Pride Park.
Yeah, look forward to that as always. Well, let's have a little pause here, Andy, for some key stats before we get some predictions and your thoughts on Pride Park. Because I'm just going to put you on the spot there, Andy, but let's get to the key stats. Okay, there's the key stats for you, ladies and gentlemen. Andy, Pride Park, first time we've been there since 2018. Paul Hurst was manager. A defeat in the early reigns of his time at town. I've been told it's been a clean at Pride Park. The new owners have decided to clean it for the first time in a long time. What's your memories of Pride Park?
Sounds similar to what happened at Ipswich under new owners. Could just come in and clean the stadium, and we know how good that can make a ground look if you just give it a bit of get some of the bird poo off the seats. That'll do the job. I'm looking forward to seeing that because Pride Park is somewhere I've always really enjoyed going. Of the kind of, you'd struggle, I guess, to call it a newer ground anymore. It's the best part of 25 years old, I would say. So, but of those, it's got a bit of character about it. I think black seats always look good in a football ground, with flashes of yellow around from memory at Pride Park. It's always a good atmosphere because they always get good crowds. Town will have a massive away following again. That's been sold out for a long time. I would assume that the home end will be close to being full as well. So always a good atmosphere. Town have a pretty decent record there over the years. Some good wins in their time, and I just hope that this weekend's another one.
Yeah, hopefully. So it's the Mark Heath derby. We can sort of joke about. But prediction then, Andy. Is it going to be another win, another clean sheet? What do you reckon?
I think one of those things will happen. I'm feeling quite confident about it. It's kind of the same as I felt going into the Bolton game, really. I've got a lot of faith in this Ipswich team. I think they might be meeting Derby at potentially a decent time. So yeah, I think they will win. I think they might have to deal with conceding a goal here, which is going to happen at some point. They're not going to go the season without conceding. So let's let that record fall. Kind of Sam Morsey spoke about that in his program notes for the Shrewsbury game, talking about how you can't be distracted by that, because if all you're doing is focusing and scared to concede, you're probably going to take your eye off the ball in other areas and not do all of your other jobs. So nothing wrong with conceding a goal. It happens. I think they might concede, but still win this one 2-1. Ross, I've got a fairly positive feeling about it.
Yeah, me too. And I'm not copying Andy, ladies and gentlemen. I have gone for a 2-1 win as well. I just feel, let's just get the clean sheet record gone, and then we can then focus for the rest of the season, get more clean sheets. But a 2-1 win and maybe a late goal, maybe. Why not? Let's tense it up a bit more and have a nice thrilling end to a game at Pride Park. But yeah, looking forward to it. If you're going, enjoy. If you're not, follow the game with us. Andy, any other business, my friend?
No other business.
Okay, then. Well, bring it on. Let's get right into it. Bye-bye for now.